Retirement is something that many of us look forward to with a lot of anticipation. But are certain days or times of the year better to retire? In this video, we're going to share 6 tips that will help you in choosing your most ideal retirement date. That's coming up, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Jerrell Harvey with Fedway Financial, and this is the Money Briefing. On this channel, we cover topics related to personal finance, federal benefits, and retirement planning. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Picking a retirement date is special, and it's probably a date that you remember for the rest of your life. Once you become eligible for retirement, the calendar becomes wide open to retire at any time. You can retire on any day of the week, including a work day, a non-work day, or even a holiday. Some people choose to align their retirement with special dates such as birthdays, work anniversaries, seasonal occasions, or other life events. And while all dates are available, some dates can have better financial benefits. So I want to share 6 tips that will help you pick your most ideal retirement date. Tip number 1 is minimize your unpaid days. Retirement pensions only start on specific days, so you want to minimize or fully eliminate any days in a non-paid status. The rules for when a pension begins are different for FERS and CSRS. For FERS employees, your pension will always start on the first day of the month after you retire. So as an example, whether you retire on April 1st, April 10th, April 20th, or April 30th, your pension will start on May 1st. Therefore, retirement at the end of the month is most beneficial for FERS employees. This allows you to receive your salary throughout the entire month, and your retirement pension will ensue on the first day of the next month. For employees under CSRS, you can retire up to the third day of the month and still receive pension credit for that month. So while a FERS employee will have to retire by April 30th to start earning benefits in May, a CSRS employee could wait until May 3rd. However, each day you wait before retiring reduces the amount of your pension for that month by 1 day. In other words, if you separate on May 3rd, the amount of pension you earn in May will be based on 27 days, since all retirement months are calculated using 30 days. Now, let's discuss tip number 2, which is plan your pay period. There are 26 pay periods in each year. Most federal employees who are considering retirement earn 8 hours of annual leave and 4 hours of sick leave each pay period. Those are important numbers because your unused annual leave and sick leave are valuable benefits to leverage at retirement. When you retire, your unused annual leave is paid out as a lump sum payment, and your unused sick leave is converted to additional credible service that is used in computing your retirement pension. Commencing your retirement at the end of a pay period will allow you to accrue the full amount of annual leave and sick leave hours. But if you retire in the middle of a pay period, you won't get any hours at all. For most federal employees, leave periods end on Saturday. However, for retirement purposes, the end of the pay period means the end of your biweekly scheduled work hours. So if you work a compressed work schedule and you complete your 80 hours of work on Thursday, you can retire at the end of that day and still receive maximum leave for the pay period. Tip number 3 is stack your annual leave. There's typically a period of 2 to 3 months between the time you retire and when you receive your first interim pension check. Then there's usually at least another 3 months until you get your full pension check. Therefore, if you don't have enough savings to cover at least 6 months of living expenses, it may benefit you to accrue and accumulate as much annual leave as possible, which I like to call stacking your annual leave. This positions you to receive a significant lump sum payment, but annual leave is subject to a use or lose policy, and most federal workers are limited to carrying 240 hours from 1 year to the next. If you have a sizable amount of annual leave that exceeds the carryover limit, you may want to choose a retirement date prior to the end of the year or on the last day of the year so you don't forfeit any of your accumulated leave. Additionally, for those who retire at the end of the year, the lump sum payment won't be paid out and considered taxable income until the following year. And if there is a pay increase in January, that increased pay is factored into your calculation of the lump sum as if you actually worked during the period covered by the annual leave. Tip number 4 is cash in your sick leave. Unlike annual leave, there is no cap on the amount of sick leave that may be carried over from year to year. But you can still potentially lose a lot of your sick leave hours. Retirement pensions are based on years and full months of service. As a result, the amount of credit you will get for your unused sick leave will depend on whether your converted hours are sufficient enough to make a full month. Any days that don't add up to a whole month are not factored into your pension calculation. So if you're right on the cusp with 28 or 29 extra days of federal service, you may consider working an extra month or two to make a whole month. So as an example, let's say you have 26 years, 7 months, and 29 days of federal service. Typically, those 29 days would just be discarded. But if you worked one additional month, your time of service would increase to 26 years and 9 months. By working one additional month, you actually receive 2 months of service. You get 1 month for the extra month worked and an additional month when combining the 8 hours of sick leave with the 29 days that you would have otherwise lost. On the flip side, instead of working longer, you can also cash in your sick leave by using the days that don't add up to a whole month. If you have any medical procedures that you've been putting off, go ahead and get those things done while you're still at working rather than waiting until you retire. Okay, let's move on. Tip number 5 is stuff your TSP savings. In the year that you plan to retire, you should try to contribute as much as your income as possible to your TSP account. Contributions to a TSP or IRA can only come from earned income. The money you receive from your pension, Social Security benefit, investments, and rental properties are not considered earned income. Therefore, your retirement year may be your last opportunity to save money in a tax-deferred retirement account, unless your spouse has earned income, which may allow you to contribute to an IRA. But the contribution limits of an IRA are significantly lower than that of a TSP. As a result, you may want to adjust your percentage or deferral amount to allow you to save up to the annual contribution limit or whatever number that is within your budget. At the start of the year in which you plan to retire, you can divide your target contribution by the number of pay periods that you plan to work. For example, let's say you plan to retire at the end of July and you will be employed for 15 pay periods during the course of the year, and your contribution target is $20,000. You would divide the $20,000 by the 15 pay periods, and your deferral amount for each pay period would be $1,333. By stuffing your TSP, you not only get to grow your TSP, but you also get a potential taxable savings. Number 6, the last tip is examine your work and family environment. Picking a retirement date is part financial, but there are also mental and emotional values to take into consideration. If there are situations or changes in your work or family environment, those issues may ultimately influence your retirement date. If there's a new supervisor on your team, or if you're being forced to go back into the office after working remote, or if you're just ready to spend more time with your family, these things may outweigh some of the benefits that we previously discussed. At the end of the day, you may not be able to apply every tip, but the key to picking your federal retirement date is finding a day that provides meaning, benefit, and peace of mind. If you received any value from this video, please click the like button. And I enjoy hearing from you. So please add any responses or questions in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Money Briefing.